Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how Cubeatz makes flutes and guitar samples, and yeah, let's get straight into it. So the sample I'm going to be breaking down sounds like this. So the first thing I started with was this guitar that I recorded, which sounds like this. Which is a really basic chord progression. It's just the C minor chord into the fifth, which is an F minor chord. And then for the effects for this, all I added was an EQ to get rid of the low end and some of the background noise. Then I added this reverb on top of it, and then lastly an imager just to make it a bit wider. And then after I had this, I wanted to add another guitar on top of it, just to kind of complement it, make it sound a bit more interesting. So I recorded this guitar right here. And as you can hear, they go very well together. And the reason is because when I recorded the melody, I tried to record it in different spaces where there wasn't anything playing on the first guitar. So as you can see, most of the sound that's coming from the first guitar is at the beginning here, a little bit here, and at the end. And on this guitar you can tell it's playing on different spaces. So they kind of bounce off each other. For the effects of this guitar, it's pretty much the same thing, just an EQ and a reverb. And that was because I wanted to sound more like one guitar and not two separate guitars playing. Now the next thing I recorded was this slide guitar, which sounds like this. And to play this, I used one of these that I bought at the guitar store for like 10 bucks. And then you pretty much just use that on the fretboard instead of your guitar, and you hold it very softly, and you can create some pretty cool sounds with it, and it's really easy to do. And for the effects for this, I added an EQ to get rid of the low end. I added a reverb, and then lastly a panomatic, just to pan it from left to right ear. And here I just selected the pan, and then I changed the amount and speed until it sounded right. Then the next thing I recorded was the flutes, which sounds like this. And I know I called it recorder in here, but it's actually a bonsuri flute that I bought online. And the thing with this flute is that it doesn't have all of the notes. It's tuned to a certain scale, which is like a certain Indian scale. So it doesn't really have the notes that I wanted to use. So what I had to do is that I had to go in manually in Audacity and kind of just try to fine tune all of the notes and get the right note in that I wanted to use. I think this note right here was originally one semitone up, so I just pitched it down. And for the second one, I did pretty much the same thing, but then I also pitched it up an octave. And the reason I pitched it up was so that it wouldn't clash together with the other flute. And with the flutes, I did the same thing that I did with the guitars, where you're trying to play the melodies at different times, just so they go better together. And for the effects for this, all I added was an EQ to get rid of the low end, and then I added this reverb. Then the last thing I recorded was this bass guitar, which sounds like this. And originally it sounded like this. And since I don't have a bass guitar, I pretty much just recorded it on the guitar with the 2 lowest strings. And then to make it sound more like a bass, I pitched it down an octave. And then I added this EQ to get rid of the high end to make it sound like a bass. And then lastly, all I had was this texture sound, just background noise, to make it sound vinyl. And then I exported the sample out and I added a couple different effects to it. So for the effects, all I added was this plugin called Chef73 by Waves. And here I pretty much just boosted the high end and the mid end a little bit to make it sound more crisp. And then I added this EQ to kind of get rid of some of the frequency that I didn't like in it. And then lastly we had just a slight bit of detune. And then to get it even more detuned, what I did is that I went in on the sample, I right clicked the pitch wheel and I clicked the create automation clip. And then I pretty much just went in and manually changed the pitch, all from 48 to 52%. And this just makes your detune sound a bit more random and unique. And you also don't need any plugins to do it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the sample. I'm going to open it up in a new project and we'll make some drum suites. So I think I want this to be the intro, and then we drag in only the guitar, and then we drag in the flute afterwards. So. Then we're gonna add an EQ to the sample, just to get rid of the low end. I usually do around 100 Hz. Then we're going to automate it so we can have it playing in the intro still. I think it's a bit too quiet, so I'm just gonna go in here and turn the volume up. do, we're gonna add a soft clipper to the master, just so it doesn't clip. And then what I'd like to do with my 808s is that I pretty much just type in the pattern first, and then I go in and change the pitches afterwards. At the end I want to add a roll to it. Add some rolls to the hi-hats. To these notes and do Alt-R to randomize the velocities. And then we're going to select all of them, and we're going to automate the velocity a little bit and the padding as well. I'm not sure if we're gonna add a kick on top of it or not, but we're gonna try and see how it sounds. really like how the kick sounds on the C, so I'm just going to try maybe E minor instead. Yeah, I think F sharp sounds a lot better, so we're gonna keep it like that. And yeah, I think that's all we really need. So I'm just going to arrange it a little bit, and I will play the final results. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.